My good mathematician friend, Missy Elliott, once said that if you have a negative exponent, then you need to flip it and reverse it. This is a fraction of 2 over 3 to a negative power. So I flip it. And now the negative power isn't negative anymore. Cool, easy, not so bad. I've taken the reciprocal, I've flipped it. What about if I have a whole number to a negative power? Well, then the 4, instead of being on the top, is going to be on the bottom. So this 4, if you have a whole number to a negative power, then it's going to go on the bottom because it was on the top and now it's going to be on the bottom. You notice that I think of if I have a whole number that it's on the top. That's just the way that I think about it in my head. All right, so a whole number to a negative power means you write the whole number on the bottom and a 1 on the top. This one here, I've got this whole group called 2x, and I want to raise it to a negative flower. Negative flower. Flowers aren't negative. Flowers are lovely. I've got this whole group that is 2x, and I want to raise it to a negative power. So it's the same thing as this, right? It was on the top. Now the whole blob of 2x will be on the bottom with the 1 on the top. Just like in this one. But then surely this is the same question. Surely this has got to be 2x on the bottom. Or does it? I would think of this one. Do you notice that the power here applies to that whole group? And the whole group goes on the bottom. But here, the power just applies to the x. So it's only the x that's going to go on the bottom. What I would do is I would write out, there's an invisible times sign in here, right? So let's write out that invisible times sign. And now we can remember, oh yeah, I have to do exponents before I do multiplying. So I have to figure out what x to the minus 1 is. And x to the power of minus 1, well, if you have a whole number, you raise it to the power of minus 1, it goes on the bottom. Turns into 1 over x. Well, now you can read it off that the top is 2 times 1 and the bottom is x. The top is 2 times 1 and the bottom is x. Do you notice that these two are different? Here, the whole 2x ended up on the bottom. But here, because I didn't have this whole thing in a group, it was just the thing immediately to the left of the power that ended up on the bottom. The very last one we'll look at, I've got a negative power that isn't negative 1, it's negative 2. To think of this, I would first deal with the fact that it's negative. A negative power means it's going to flip upside down. The 5 was on the top. And just like this, the 5 is going to go on the bottom. And now it's not a negative power anymore. Instead of being a power of negative 2, it's a power of positive 2. We're not quite done yet, because we can simplify this a bit more. It's still a bit messy. And we can remember the rule that says if I've got a power on the outside of the brackets and a fraction on the inside, each of these things gets that power. The 1 gets a squared and the 5 gets a squared. To simplify it further, in fact, the last step that we're going to do, 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. Brill! Absolutely brill. We did it. We did it. Come on. Don't be so negative.